Hello, Jess Adoui. I'm Jess and I'm the Senior Manager for Wales for the UK Network team. In this recording, I'm going to be talking through the results from our intermediary survey run in late 2023 on the perceptions of the access to finance ecosystem. We had 725 respondents to the survey, with 49 of those representing Wales. So firstly, I'm going to cover SME demand for finance, then look at supply, and then lastly recap on some of our headline statistics and initiatives the bank run to support SMEs in. Firstly, I'm going to look at the right-hand side of this graph. Interestingly, only 10% of respondents see a lack of ambition to grow as a significant hurdle, suggesting the perception of high aspirations amongst Welsh SMEs. UKN have also undertaken sub-regional research in collaboration with the Development Bank of Wales, and across all regions, the SME respondents firstly suggest their businesses will remain stable over the next year. However, around a quarter anticipate their businesses to grow significantly or moderately, especially those in North and South East Wales, where support systems are well developed and concentrated. Looking at the left side, though slightly lower than the UK average of 60%, 57% of intermediaries felt a lack of awareness of finance options remains the biggest barrier for demand for finance in Wales. This lack of awareness drove our work around enhancing information awareness and knowledge sharing throughout Wales, complementing our National Business Finance Week campaign. I actively participated in digital discussions with the likes of Business News Wales, local conferences and seminars all around the bank's programme of activity and information that we have on our finance hub. When considering awareness of different forms of finance, there is a tendency for SMEs to not be well informed about equity or alternative finance and be better informed about debt. In my conversations with stakeholders, there are regional differences in attitudes towards equity and knowledge around forms of alternative finance, with awareness being better in the southeast and north of Wales. In our sub-regional intel survey, we see significant regional differences on the forms of finance used across Wales, such as a lack of invoice finance across all regions and high usage of grants in the southwest and mid Wales. This may be influenced by the sectors prevalent in each area, but also regional economic plans and the availability of financial information and advisory services. Thinking back to the first graph I showed, the second biggest barrier to accessing finance was perceived to be supply. This chart further reinforces this perception. When asked specifically about supply of finance, 88% of intermediaries agreed that there were gaps. Data collection for this survey was live in the same period in which the bank launched the Investment Fund for Wales, the 130 million fund with sub-funds covering smaller and larger debt and equity. So it will be interesting to see if this perception softens as the Investment Fund for Wales begins to deploy. A significant proportion of respondents in Wales and across the UK believe that there is inadequate financial support for startups. Therefore, the bank established support for an emerging angel syndicate, the Women Angels of Wales, and ran a Meet the Funder event series where angels and early stage fund managers met with startup founders, and this was led by partners from across Wales and the UKN team. Through the monthly Meet the Funder events and other national initiatives driven by BBB, over 123 Welsh founders participated in fundraising education and met with approximately 40 investors, collectively raising above £8.5 million. These initiatives included Wales Week London, the Investor Readiness Programme and Wales Tech Week, all of which focused on startups and early stage. To conclude, there is a lack of awareness of finance options amongst Welsh SMEs, particularly around forms of finance such as early stage equity and alternative finance. Alongside this, there are gaps in the supply of finance, regardless of development stage of the business, but particularly for startups. This does, however, provide an opportunity for the bank to continue to support those communication gaps and regional disparities in accessibility through our ongoing knowledge sharing and education activities and deployment of the Investment Fund for Wales and other bank programmes. I hope this has been helpful. Diolch am wrando, and thank you for listening.